Hello, Jennifer Owens here, Director of the Academy of Integrative Mental Health, and your host for today's episode, which is a very special holiday edition of the Mental Health News Updates for the months of November and December. But before we start with today's episode, I want to share with you an upcoming live training that we're hosting on January 14th. I'm really excited about it. And it's going to be perfect for therapists looking for out-of-the-box approaches to working with grief. Join Nancy Gershom, the developer of dreamscaping, or prescriptive memory making, which is an imaginative and photo-based therapy supported by how memories get encoded in the brain. In this unique training, you'll learn to curate novel, positive memories and co-create prescriptive memories to foster healing. You'll gain essential skills to identify suitability and contraindications, use narrative materials as retrieval cues, launch memory reconsolidation, and open clients to therapeutic experiences. Plus, you'll explore observational humor, deep play, and magic realism to optimize memory recall. You do not have to have any type of training in art therapy, and this course is approved for most licensures, CEUs. So come elevate your practice and learn this innovative intervention in working with all kinds of grief, like pet loss, divorce, eco-grief, early childhood trauma, and so much more. Our podcast listeners will receive 15% off the training using the code revealed at the end of this episode if you register before January 1st. P.S. This training also makes a good gift for the mental health professional in your life or for a colleague. Learn more about why it makes a good gift a little later on in this episode. So in today's Holiday Mental Health News Special, we're covering holiday blues, the psychology of gift giving, the paradox mindset and winter solstice, and some ways to advocate for yourself and others this holiday season. So stay tuned all the way until the end of the episode to receive your discount code for our upcoming live training and to learn all the information that we are covering and presenting to you today. So let's get started with In the Headlines. In this segment, we will explore the nuances of holiday-related emotional challenges and offer insights to help navigate these feelings more effectively. During the months of November and December, many anticipate a time filled with joy and celebration. However, it's essential to acknowledge that this period can also bring a wave of sadness for many people, commonly known as the holiday blues or holiday depression, challenging the societal expectations of only positive emotions. While the holiday season is traditionally seen as a time for gratitude, giving, religious celebrations, and family gatherings, it's not always the case for everyone, even if you don't celebrate the holidays. For some, it's a time marked by deep reflection, feelings of loneliness, grief, and increased anxiety, leading to a noticeable dip in their overall mood.
I sometimes get a little somber or a little down because I see all the other shoppers shopping, and there's laughter, there's a lot of vacations that are taking place, loved ones visiting each other, games being played. There's a lot of enjoyment in restaurants together. And those are things that I can no longer do in a happily mode. Yes, I could go out and have dinner with someone else, but those moments that my husband and I would share, those are the moments that I can't enjoy. So I just really prefer to not do that.
Even those who typically revel in holiday cheer aren't immune to feeling overwhelmed. The season's high expectations and increased demands often result in stress and exhaustion, contributing to the holiday blues.
Every time around the holidays, it's like, I mean, for me, it was always like some type of confrontation um, going on. Like some shape or form, some way, shape or form of like people arguing or somebody going through something. It's just like, ugh, it's draining. It's literally draining. Then on top of that, I live in New York. So it's cold, it's not sunny, it's less sun, days are shorter. I'm sleepy at 5 p.m.
Particularly at risk are individuals with pre-existing mental health issues. The National Alliance on Mental Health, NAMI, highlights a concerning statistic. 64% of people with a mental illness report that the holiday season exacerbates their symptoms. This is a stark reminder of the complex challenges the holiday season can pose. Findings from the 2021 All Points North Lodge reveal a complex picture of how Americans cope with depression during the season. In their survey of 1,000 adults across various demographics, a significant 45% found solace in solitude as a way to manage their depression during the holidays. This statistic sheds light on the varied responses to holiday stress.
Holidays are a tough time. It's not just the isolation, it's the expectation that's created by culture, by advertising, that the only normal way to be in the holidays, the only way to access joy and celebration is to be with others. So imagine the feeling if you don't have a way to make those kind of connections. And that is why loneliness has always been a problem for the holidays.
Is there value or some benefit to being alone? And what is the difference between being alone and feeling or being lonely?
So being alone is such an important part of the human psyche that we even have a high-class word for it. We call it solitude sometimes. It's a time where we can explore who we are, how we fit into the world, how we fit into the universe. And it can be very health enhancing to spend time alone and to feel confident about yourself and how you fit into the world. Being lonely is a very specific feeling of something missing. And what's missing is the sense of connection to people at the level that you want to have that connection. And in that gap between the social connections you aspire to and what you feel you have is what we call loneliness.
Holiday blues is a little different than seasonal affective disorder, but it can also come hand in hand. Seasonal affective disorder is a form of depression that is closely related to the winter season and therefore seems to increase in frequency around the holidays. It's important to note that SAD is triggered by the short, dark, cold days of winter, not the actual holidays.
I mean, what do you want me to do? Lie to you? I'll put 70 every day next time. God.
Thank you for your commitment.
Man, thank you. Mr. Davis appreciates it. He knows when to bundle up.
Yep.
Here's some wind, here's some temperature, 20s. Feels like 19 or feels like 70, I don't know. 47, partly cloudy, southwest breeze 10 to 15. Here's a 60. I don't know if that's good enough for you guys. Get excited. Maybe I'll disappoint you with the 7-day here in a few minutes.
Winter is here.
So, continuing our exploration of the holiday blues and seasonal depression, it's vital to discuss the impact of how we respond to our emotions. A summer 2023 study published in the journal Emotion, co-authored by Will Roth, sheds light on this topic. The research reveals that individuals who consistently judge their unpleasant emotions, like sadness or anger, as negative or inappropriate, are more prone to experiencing anxiety and depression compared with those who accept these emotions. Will Roth emphasizes the importance of acknowledging these emotions as normal responses to specific situations, which are likely to pass over time rather than labeling them as bad or wrong. This perspective doesn't imply that one should passively accept the circumstances causing these emotions. It's beneficial and often necessary to change situations that lead to difficult feelings. Adjusting a hectic holiday schedule to feel less overwhelmed or setting boundaries with family to mitigate sadness or anger are practical examples. But it's not uncommon for people to occasionally judge their emotions. But issues arise when this becomes a habitual response. Will Roth points out that recognizing unpleasant emotions as a natural and sometimes adaptive reaction to situations is a crucial first step. Sadness can signal a need for support. Fear can keep us safe from danger, and anger might help us defend ourselves and others. Moreover, discussing these emotions with others can be therapeutic. Recognizing that unpleasant emotions are a normal, natural part of life enables us to accept them more than judging them. If you find yourself frequently judging your emotions, Will Roth advises against dwelling on it. This guidance underlies the importance of a balanced emotional response, especially during challenging times like the holidays. But let's not forget that the holiday blues can also be rooted in a broader discontentment with the current state of affairs or disillusionment around the consumerism that often surrounds this time of year.
Underneath the bright glitz of Christmas lights and shrouded under the cover of wrapped presents lies the stark reality of the holidays in the imperial core. Starting with the celebration of colonial genocide in Thanksgiving, followed immediately by the capitalist schemes of Black Friday and Cyber Monday that bleed into a month of Christmas celebrations foregrounding extensive gift-giving ceremonies, holidays have been co-opted by corporations and a relentless drive for profit and growth. Gift-giving has been present in the ethos of winter holidays for hundreds of years, a tradition which some scholars point towards the 19th century New York City aristocrats for starting, as a way of shifting December holidays from a season where poorer people could demand food and drink from the wealthy and celebrate in the streets, to one of cozy celebration in the home, encouraging gift-giving to children. But the amount of gifts were generally small in the 1800s, and it wasn't until the rise of advertising around the turn of the 20th century that retailers, especially toy retailers, saw the potential of holidays for profit and capital accumulation. By the 2000s, U.S. retail sales during the holiday season reached $416.4 billion and have only gotten bigger.
Past trauma and unresolved issues can resurface during the holiday season, adding to the emotional mix. So, what can you do if you find yourself or someone you know grappling with the holiday blues? Our suggestion is to take a personalized approach. Start by increasing awareness of what might be contributing to your distress and discomfort. Is it financial worries, family tensions, the absence of someone dear to you? Identifying these factors is the first step. Once you've pinpointed the source of your holiday blues, if possible, then create a plan to address what can be addressed. Sometimes that might mean setting realistic expectations or boundaries with family and friends. Other times it might involve seeking more support. Remember, it's entirely normal to experience difficult emotions during the holiday season, and there's no one-size-fits-all solution. Sometimes the most important thing is to allow space for whatever needs your attention. By acknowledging your feelings and taking steps to address them, you can navigate the holiday blues with greater resilience, an open mind, and a sense of empowerment. You can also check out our holiday bonus episode, Common Client Conundrums. Ooh, that's a tongue twister. Common Client Conundrums. For more holiday tips for clients and therapists. Next up, our research review. In this segment, we took a look at research in the world of gift-giving psychology and how it relates to our happiness. Offering gifts is a practice deeply rooted in human culture across millennia and societies. Giving and receiving gifts isn't just a social ritual. It's a powerful way to boost our mental and social well-being. When you exchange gifts, your brain releases a delightful cocktail of feel-good chemicals, including serotonin, dopamine, and oxytocin, creating what's known as a helper's high. Not only does this make you feel good, but it also has tangible health benefits like lowering blood pressure and improving self-esteem. Anticipating a gift also activates your brain's reward system, so gift giving and receiving aren't just about sharing items. They're deeply rewarding emotional exchanges.
They like their presents, right?
Dana loves her playhouse. You weren't up too late building it, were you?
It was a breeze.
My family didn't ruin your day, did they?
No, I love that we hosted this year.
Mary, traffic was awful.
3 hours!
Whoa, you can't wait.
Now let's explore how commercialism has influenced the art of gift giving, especially during the holiday season. Research suggests that people tend to derive more lasting satisfaction from experiences like travel, performances, and museum visits than from material possessions like clothes or gadgets. Experiences foster connections, enhance self-perception, and are valued for intrinsic worth. What's fascinating is that experiences have more enduring psychological impact than material goods. They offer anticipatory excitement, live on through memories, and become cherished stories. Plus, experiences foster gratitude more than possessions. They even influence social behavior, encouraging generosity and enhancing social cohesion.
I think that people are starting to recognize that experience gifts can create emotions, not just at the time you hand the gift over, but actually in the consumption of the gift. And perhaps the reason why it's so important is that people are starting to recognize the value of experiences in building relationships. Because those emotions help build intimacy and help build that relationship. So it feels like it's more than straight, regular gifting. We are seeing a shift which has been happening over a few years now, I think.
Why is it happening?
Can I just say, I'd agree with you, Colin, with what you said, that there is a change. But I think this is a seismic shift. I think we're moving from a time of materialism as our defining dominant value system to a time of what I call experientialism. Instead of looking for happiness, identity, and status in things and expecting to find happiness, identity, and status in things, we're finding happiness, identity, and status in experiences instead. So it's happening in all areas of our life.
Given these insights, policies promoting experiential consumption are worth considering, such as investing in public spaces and arts funding. This shift aligns with the concept of gratitude, emphasizing the importance of experiences over consumerism, benefiting both individuals and communities. However, research shows that for young children, material gifts often bring more joy than experiences. This preference is linked to their developmental stage as their memories are still developing. Tangible items act as reminders, providing repeated bursts of happiness. As children grow older, their happiness increasingly comes from experiences. Teenagers, especially those aged 13 to 17, find greater joy in experiential gifts. Still, experiences like vacations hold value for young kids, especially when they're accompanied by tangible reminders like photographs. Lastly, we explored research revealing why people sometimes opt for material gifts over experiential ones, despite the known benefits of the latter. The key finding is that the likelihood of giving an experiential gift increases with the social closeness of the recipient. Experiences require a deeper understanding of the recipient's preferences and involved a higher social risk. When an experience is perceived as low risk, social distance plays a less significant role in gift choice. Understanding these dynamics can help us make more meaningful gift choices as we navigate the complexities of personal relationships. Ultimately, while research provides valuable insights, you know yourself and your loved ones best, so trust your instincts when selecting the perfect gift. Did you know? While it may appear counterintuitive, especially during the cold winter months in the Northern Hemisphere, Earth actually comes closer to the sun in early January. This phenomenon, known as perihelion, brings Earth approximately 3 million miles nearer to the sun compared to early July. For instance, in 2022, Earth reached perihelion on January 4th. So that means that the sun is closest to the Earth in the winter months. However, despite the proximity to the sun, the northern hemisphere experiences cold temperatures during this time. This cold weather and conversely, the warm temperatures in the southern hemisphere can be attributed to the Earth's axial tilt. With an angle of 23.5 degrees, Earth's tilt causes the northern hemisphere to tilt away from the sun during the winter, resulting in less sunlight and cooler temperatures. In contrast, during July, the northern hemisphere tilts towards the sun, leading to the warmer summer months. This axial tilt, rather than the distance from the sun, plays the primary role in influencing seasonal temperatures and light variations. Interestingly, there's a valuable mental health lesson to be drawn from Earth's natural movements. While it may seem like a dark and cold time with minimal light and warmth for some of us, we are actually closest to the sun, the very source of that light and warmth. Depending on your location, you're simply angled away from it for a portion of the year. It's a reminder that the Earth is in constant motion, spinning, tilting, and orbiting, and that everything, even down to the chemical and cellular level, is continuously shifting, vibrating, and changing. This concept revolves around perspective.
Why do I stand up here? Anybody?
To feel taller.
No. Thank you for playing, Mr. Dalton. I stand upon my desk to remind myself that we must constantly look at things in a different way. See, the world looks very different from up here. You don't believe me? Come see for yourselves. Come on. Come on. Just when you think you know something, you have to look at it in another way. Even though it may seem silly or wrong, you must try.
Doesn't mean the goal is to shift your perspective to avoid pain, discomfort, or ambivalence, as that might not provide a balanced view of reality. Instead, it's an invitation to allow your perspective to expand, to see what might be just out of view, and embrace two conflicting truths simultaneously, even if they don't initially appear compatible. The concept of a paradox mindset, where one can hold two conflicting truths, demands, or emotions without feeling compelled to choose, prioritize, or judge one over the other, is becoming increasingly important in today's complex world. This mindset, characterized by the acceptance and balance of contradictory elements, has been linked to heightened creativity, adaptability, and productivity. However, adopting this mindset is not a straightforward task, as our minds tend to seek either-or solutions to resolve issues quickly.
Hi, I'm Bruno Anetta, science teacher and artist, and I do think that paradoxical thinking is a solution to the human condition. In fact, I go so far as to say I think it might be the solution to the human condition. And by human condition, I'm talking about the conflicts that arise within us and between us. A big claim? Maybe, maybe not. In 2014, an experiment was conducted using paradoxical thinking to change the fixed hardline mindsets of 161 Jewish Israeli participants affected by the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. It was successful. The results showed that most had changed their attitudes from hardline to conciliatory, and even after a year, they were voting for more peace-loving parties in their elections. Paradoxical thinking unfreezes fixed mindsets and leads to creative and innovative solutions.
Although seemingly counterintuitive, embracing contradictions to foster innovative thinking is rooted in extensive research. This approach, known as paradoxical cognition, can be a potent tool for challenging assumptions and gaining fresh perspectives on problems. One of the earliest formal investigations into this concept was conducted by Harvard University psychiatrist Albert Rothenberg in 1996. His study involved interviews with 22 Nobel laureates and an analysis of historical accounts of influential scientists. Rothenberg found that these revolutionary thinkers often engaged in contemplating multiple opposites or antitheses at the same time. For instance, Einstein contemplated how an object could be simultaneously at rest and in motion, depending on the observer's perspective, ultimately leading to his theory of relativity. Danish physicist Niels Bohr grappled with the dual nature of energy as both waves and particles, a paradox instrumental in the development of quantum mechanics. While not everyone possesses the genius of Einstein or Bohr, research indicates that paradoxical cognition can benefit average individuals in solving everyday problems and help organizations enhance their performance.
How do we explain the unexplainable? This question has inspired numerous myths, religious practices, and scientific inquiries. But Zen Buddhists practicing throughout China from the 9th to 13th century asked a different question. Why do we need an explanation? For these monks, blindly seeking answers was a vice to overcome, and learning to accept the mysteries of existence was the true path to enlightenment. But fighting the urge to explain the unexplainable can be difficult. So, to help practice living with these mysteries, the meditating monks used a collection of roughly 1,700 bewildering and ambiguous philosophical thought experiments called koans. In addition to exploring ambiguity, koans often ridiculed characters claiming total understanding of the world around them. One such example finds 3 monks debating a temple flag rippling in the wind. The first monk refers to the flag as a moving banner, while the second monk insists that they are not seeing the flag move, but rather the wind blowing. They argue back and forth until finally a third monk intervenes. It is not the flag moving, nor the wind blowing, but rather the movement of your minds. One interpretation of this koan plays on the supposed wisdom of the arguing monks. The first asserting the importance of the observable world, the second favoring deeper knowledge we can infer from that world. But each monk's commitment to his own answer blinds him to the other's insight, and in doing so defies an essential Buddhist ideal, abolishing binary thinking. The third monk identifies their conflict as a perceptual one. Both arguing monks fail to see the larger picture. Of course, all these interpretations only hint at how to wrestle with these koans.
So, this winter, perhaps consider adopting a paradox mindset if the holidays or the seasons have you feeling a mix of emotions. If you were to accept 2 conflicting truths, thoughts, and emotions, or even be open to the possibility of the unseen on the horizon, what would change? What would you notice? Could it open up new possibilities or just simply create more space in your experience? And last but not least, our advocacy alert. While we acknowledge the diverse range of emotions people experience during the holiday season, many of us, including mental health professionals, can benefit from support, whether giving or receiving it or both. So in this segment, we're going to share some ways to advocate for self and others this holiday season. Supportive organizations and services encompass warm lines, which are phone numbers people can call when they need someone to talk to or simply to be there, whether they're in crisis or not. These lines are staffed by individuals with lived experiences, offering support without the need for enrollment in a specific program or attendance at a support group. Additionally, there's the 988 suicide hotline and crisis text line, which provides free confidential text message support for individuals going through emotional distress or crisis 24/7. Simply text MHA to 741-741 for support. You can also find local support groups tailored to your individual needs. And if there are no in-person groups available, online options are worth exploring. For example, the dinner party brings together 20 and 30-somethings who've experienced the loss of a loved one in small groups called tables. You can discover a wide variety of support groups through Support Groups Central, curating groups from organizations like NAMI and Remind. These groups cover topics such as depression, addiction, and LGBTQ plus support. Most are free or request a small donation, and you can receive email alerts about upcoming meetings by topic. In terms of financial support resources, government services like TANF, SNAP, LIHEAP, and Medicaid can provide assistance. Nonprofit organizations like the Salvation Army, Toys for Tots, Angel Tree Program by the Prison Fellowship, Adopt a Family by United Way, Feeding America, Habitat for Humanity, and Goodwill Industries also offer support. Many local churches and religious institutions run community programs, and some employers provide an employee assistant program that offers financial aid during the holidays for employees facing unexpected financial difficulties. There are various ways to give back and advocate for others during the holiday season. Besides volunteering at shelters or assisted living facilities or fundraising for trusted organizations, you can consider a more straightforward acts of kindness. Preparing food for a neighbor or someone living alone. Creating a warm kit with blankets, gloves, hats, snacks, and water. I also find that people really appreciate cigarettes and money too. And you can offer those, you can keep that in your car and offer those to people that might want them. And performing random acts of kindness like helping with bags or lending a listening ear, all that can make a significant difference.
Now, to explore how kindness impacts your mood, researchers at the University of California assigned undergrad students to spend an hour and a half doing kind acts on campus. These acts included giving compliments, paying for parking meters, and carrying items for others. Afterwards, students reported increased optimism and life satisfaction. Their findings suggest that kindness can improve your mood. But if you don't have an extra hour and a half for kindness today, that's all right too. Research shows that people assigned to perform just one act of kindness each day for 10 days reported increased life satisfaction compared to a control group that didn't intentionally perform kind acts.
How do you support yourself and others during challenging or stressful times? And that's a wrap on our holiday special mental health news updates. Now, you can use the code CMH, all capital letters, CMH, for 15% off our upcoming live training on liberating joy from loss. Please consider liking and sharing this podcast and or YouTube video if you find this information valuable and would like to support us in contributing to provide content like this. As always, check out our library of past episodes as well as our upcoming trainings and our on-demand course library. We'll have links to all the resources and sources in the description, and I will see you all next year. Bye. Take care.